Hi, welcome and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about when others don't want to talk about narcissistic abuse. And in general, when others don't want to talk about it and you do, it can feel invalidating in some ways. It can also be triggering in some ways. And it can even be alienating to where you feel like you're by yourself. You're just kind of out there all alone. And that's not a very good feeling. It's never a good feeling, even under normal circumstances. But if you could reframe that as an opportunity as opposed to an obstacle, then that could be very powerful for you as you continue on your healing journey. Whether you have the buy-in or the support or validation really from other victims or survivors of narcissistic abuse. I thought of 10 key things for you to consider as far as this goes as you go on your healing journey and work on really transforming your life even when others don't want to talk about it. One thing for you to consider is that when others don't want to talk about narcissistic abuse, is that you have the opportunity to honor the uniqueness of other humans. Everyone's different, and we're all wired differently. We've all had different experiences, come from different places, spaces, cultures, backgrounds, and even though it may not feel good in the moment when others don't want to talk about it, and when you're kind of being looked at like, okay, like, what are you talking about? Or what's the big deal? Or get over it, or whatever the case is, that you can honor the uniqueness in each human being. A second thing to consider is that everyone responds to trauma differently. And from the standpoint of the body or physical standpoint, we're talking muscle tension, breathing, heart rate, headache, nausea. There are a lot of different reactions or effects from trauma that are experienced in the body. A third thing to consider is that we all dysregulate multiple times throughout the day. And that's based on the environment that we're in, our relationships, things that we've learned from our past that we've carried forward with us. So we can all go into a state of dysregulation at any point during the day. We can all just be reactive to our environments. If you're aware of your propensity to react, then you've got some tools in place that you can deploy in order to self-regulate, whether it's breathing, it could be meditation, any number of things. A fourth thing to consider is that trauma affects your behavior, emotions, and your way of thinking. So as you go on your healing journey, know that, or just even whether it's for yourself and what you're experiencing within your own body, or what's going on, say, with the narcissist in your life and what you're observing either up close or from a distance with the narcissist in your life, trauma affects behavior, emotions, and thinking. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's driving some of the things that you're seeing in the narcissist, but also too, even within yourself, the ways that you're reacting and the ways that you're feeling within your body. And you have an opportunity to self-reflect, self-regulate, and to course correct so that you can go on to live your best life. A fifth thing to consider is that even when others don't want to talk about narcissistic abuse, that there's an opportunity there for you to elevate your compassion. And if you're watching this channel, you're on a journey to heal and really get to the root of the narcissistically abusive relationships in your life, and trying to get better and trying to do better, right? You're trying to raise your awareness, raise your discernment, do better. But along with that, there's an opportunity to show compassion. And specifically when other people don't want to talk about it, just elevating your compassion and understanding that everyone is, in theory, is doing the best they can with what they know and with what's available to them in terms of resources, and they are, doing their best to navigate life, to deal with whatever it is that they're going through. A sixth thing to consider is relevancy, and what's relevant to you may not be relevant to someone else. And again, everyone's different. Everyone has different emotional temperaments. Everyone's got different experiences, comes from different backgrounds, and has different ways of coping with, stress or with trauma. And based on what they know and what they've been through and what they were even taught, including you. And understanding that what's relevant to you may not be relevant to others can help you to put into perspective why someone may or may not want to talk about narcissistic abuse. A seventh thing to consider is the importance of safety and support when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse. And this includes relationships, and this includes environment. And for you, you're going to want to be in an environment with someone that you feel safe with in order to talk about narcissistic abuse. And you may have good friends, or you may have family members or other people in your life who may or may not want to talk about narcissistic abuse. Some of the people around you, or maybe all of the people around you, may not be in the same place or space where you are as far as narcissistic abuse and what you've been through. They may not get it, or they may have different ways of coping. And you're going to want to make sure that you find a safe person and a safe place where you can receive the support and encouragement that you need in order to be able to talk through what you need to talk through as you go on your healing journey. An eighth thing to consider is that you have the opportunity to self-regulate and to rewrite your inner story. And that's such a key component to healing from narcissistic abuse, is rewriting your inner story. And certainly you can change your behavior, change your surroundings. You can even change your relationships. You can end certain relationships and cultivate new relationships. But internally speaking, you have an opportunity to self-regulate. And when others don't want to talk about it, that means that that's not going to be an opportunity or an avenue for you to be able to regulate your emotions. And it's an opportunity really to self-regulate, or to find other ways to deal with or process who and what you've been dealing with. And that can be really good for you, because there's a lot of growth that can come through that. And in the process, you can rewrite your inner story. Whatever lies, whatever negative things that the narcissist has projected onto you, that's either fed things that were already there from your childhood or from other relationships that you've had in the past, then you can tap into that and you can rewrite your inner story and be able to reframe that into something more positive that can carry you forward in a good way. A ninth thing to consider is to be able to look for wisdom and lessons learned in the situations that you've been through. And when others don't want to talk about it, that doesn't mean that you can't take time to really reflect and process, maybe through journaling or through your own studies or therapy, to be able to not look at it as a loss, but to really embrace the lessons learned and reflect on that and then apply it to your life going forward. Reflecting on the lessons learned can lead to a lot of growth, a lot of encouragement, empowerment, self-improvement. A 10th thing to consider is that narcissistic abuse flourishes when no one talks about it. Everyone's in different places on their journey. Some people don't even understand what it is. They've never experienced it. Or they've experienced it and they aren't really sure what it's called. They're not really fully aware of this type of behavior and just how deep it runs. But I would say for you to stand firmly in your truth and to speak your truth whenever and however you can. When no one wants to talk about narcissistic abuse, it can really be challenging. The narcissist can flourish in that space when no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to speak up or speak out, or even say in a situation where multiple people are affected, speak to each other and compare notes and work together to take a stand against narcissistically abusive behavior. When it happens though, it's a powerful thing. One of the best things that you can do is to acknowledge the humanity in yourself and in others, and to know that everyone's on their journey and that everyone's path looks a little different. And for you, that you need to focus on your healing and on your journey while elevating your compassion and honoring others who are on theirs. And by educating yourself, empowering yourself, and really focusing on yourself, doing the self-reflection, doing the deep work, and self-regulating and self-healing with some tools and in a safe and supportive environment with the right people who are willing to talk about it, that you can be on your way to healing and even helping others as they come into this awareness. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.